There's no place to stop except for 4 feet of snow. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to my channel. Today is Fat Bike Day. That's right, it's snowing outside. You can see we've got some great weather. We're gonna hit our local trails and take you for our first fat bike ride of the season. While we do so, we thought we'd take you along and show you how we fat bike and teach you the ropes so that we can help introduce as many people as we can to fat biking in the snow. So come along with us, we'll answer some of your questions, talk to you about some of the biggest needs that you have to get started, and hopefully get you excited about getting out there on the trail in the snow. As with most winter sports, layering is really important. So I start with a base layer legging. They've got like a nice fleece lining to the inside. And then I usually put on top a pair of hiking pants. These are thicker hiking pants that I got from Costco a couple years ago, and they work pretty well. My lower body is typically not what's cold because my legs are usually moving and working really hard. The things that get cold are your feet. So I usually put some layers on with my feet. So I have a pair of Darn Tough. They are phenomenal. They're very expensive. I only own like 1 or 2 pairs, but I put a layer of that on. I have some neoprene toe socks. I picked these up on Amazon for like $4 or $5. They were pretty cheap. I put those on underneath, finish it off with a nice thick pair of these spider socks. Now for my top can get a little cold, but I also need a layer here as well. So I have a base layer Under Armour long sleeve shirt. On top of that, I do a soft shell. This is just a soft shell jacket that I got a few years ago from work. So this is nothing special. So this is just a raincoat. You guys have seen me wear this before. Hey, what are you doing there? Yeah, a pair of bike shorts with a nice soft padded chamois here could make that a nice addition to make your ride a little bit more comfortable. Never hurts to have extra layers, so I decided to throw in this long sleeve shirt as well. We want to help all beginners understand how awesome this sport is and how to get started in it. Because honestly, it's the getting started that really is the barrier for most people in getting into the sport. What kind of bike do I need to bike in the snow? Let's talk tire size first. You probably want a tire size at least 4 inches and above. Now, I've seen some people go with what they call a plus size tire, which is just a little over 3 inches. And that might be worth a shot, but I think 4 inches is your bare minimum, and then you get bigger from there. 4 inch wide, 4.5, 4.8, 5 inch wide tire. The wider the better, but I think you want to start with at least a 4 inch wide tire. The next thing you can talk about is suspension. You don't really need any to go fat biking. The squish in your tires generally can be enough suspension for you. Now, I have seen some people with front suspension fat bikes and even some full suspension fat bikes, which means front and rear. I don't think it's necessary. So if you want to talk basics, you need a bike that's a fat bike, at least 4 inches or wider, and you don't need suspension. If you want suspension, you'll get a little bit smoother ride, maybe not quite as efficient on your pedal strokes, so you can't go as fast or as far, but that's kind of the basics as far as what you need as far as a fat bike.
Should I buy my fat bike used, or would I have to buy it new?
Well, we bought both of our bikes used, so I think that would be the best answer I'd tell people is get a used bike. If you don't want to drop all the money to get into a really nice new fat bike, find one used somewhere and just make sure that it's got a good chain and good gears. I would say you really want low-end gear, something that can help give you nice slow speed and good torque. I think that's probably good.
Would I need clip-in pedals?
Oh, I don't think clip-in pedals are necessary. We've been riding in our snow boots or hiking boots, and I think that's typically fine. I think there are some people that probably clip in, but once again, to get started, no, I don't think it's necessary.
Do I need bar mitts?
Bar mitts are a really good question. It gets so cold. I think bar mitts, just for the price, $25, $30, they just keep your hands super warm, and cold hands and cold feet can make a snow bike really miserable really fast. So, no, you don't need them, but man, it sure does make it a lot nicer of a ride because, number one, they keep your hands warm. Number two, you don't have to wear big fat gloves, which means you can use all of the gear shifters and the brakes a little bit more easily when you have gloves that help you manipulate those devices a little bit better. And so I think bar mitts are pretty handy. you're gonna ride your first ride today with Bar Mitts, and I think you're gonna like it a lot. Where do I go fat biking? I think the easiest answer to that is go talk to your local bike shop and ask them where would be a good place. I think it's easiest to go on groomed trails. So if you can find like a winter bike park, a cross-country ski park that allows fat bikes, that's a really, really good place to start. Fat bikes are really good on groomed trails. Something that's got some nice hard pack to it. Fat bikes are really only good, I think, up to about 2 inches of powder. Anything more than that, it gets really, really hard to get good traction. Andrew and I are on our way up to our local state park. It's a really great place to start. So if you haven't ever heard of Harriman State Park, it's up in Island Park, Idaho. They groom all the trails. We have a state parks pass. They charge us an extra $5 in the winter to pay for the grooming fees, and I think it's worth it. Nice job. Okay, one thing I've learned is don't mash on the pedals so hard, right? If you mash too hard, you'll lose traction. So try to give it a nice, slow, steady bit of force, even if that means a slightly harder gear. If you have too much torque on the wheel, you'll just spin out. So you have to kind of balance your cadence with the amount of torque that you can put on safely without losing traction. All right, Andrew and I thought we'd take a break for a second. We're a little exhausted. It's about 3 miles in, and the first part of the trail was not well packed. And so we worked our butts off. So let's take a second to stop. We've got a good part of the groomed trail here. So we want to talk to you about where on the trail to ride. This is a groomed trail. We want to stay off of this stuff right here. They groomed this for the cross-country skiers, and the more we ride on that, we ruin the trail for them. So we try to find the most packed spot. And typically it's like right in here. I can tell you where these dog tracks are, has been the best groomed, the best packed. As long as we're not over here on that trail, we're doing pretty good. We'll show you where we came from. These are our tracks where we came from, so you can see we're just trying to ride a little bit outside of those dog tracks. Andrew's trying to stay in my tracks as best he can. Hey, you're walking on your bike.
Sometimes the trail gets not as packed and our tires start spinning out, and we're just slipping around everywhere. We can't get anywhere if we're just slipping around, so we have to walk to a better spot.
We made it to the highest part in the park, and that's saying something because it's a little soft today. As you can tell from Andrew huffing at the last few feet.
Snow, I'm good.
That was awesome. There's no place to stop except for 4 feet of snow. Let's talk about the strategies we've learned to make fat biking a little easier, because it's pretty hard.
If you try to relax your body a little bit and let the bike under you move around a lot, it's way easier if you try to relax instead of fighting the snow.
And where'd you learn that trick? Where'd you learn that one?
We were riding over some rocks up in the mountains.
So regular mountain biking.
Yeah.
Regular mountain biking taught us a lot. So there's a lot of transfer there. The bike definitely moves around underneath you a lot on a fat bike. Some things that I've learned. Number one, keep your lower body still. Your lower body and upper body still. If you can keep lower body and upper body still, you'll keep your front tire from moving around too much. And when it goes back and forth over and over, it makes it really hard. You start to snowplow. The quieter you can keep your legs, like the slow and steady, is so much better because if you start to pound on them too hard, you'll break through the crust and slide around a lot. And that doesn't help. You really want to find out where that traction point is and try to keep it smooth. One of my favorite parts about this trail is they have a warming hut. So if you get super cold, just hit the warming hut. Another great part about Harriman trails is that it tells you what stop you're on. So you can come up here and find all the different stops and make sure you know where you're at. If you ever forget how the trail etiquette goes, you got a little reminder right there. All right, we're done. 9 miles. It took us like 2.5 hours.
Oh, wow, my hair. It is a workout, but it's really, really fun.
Yeah. All right. First day out in the snow biking. Time for you guys to get out here. Well, those are our tips and tricks to get started on fat biking. If you found the video useful, give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you next time.